Ready for the game tomorrow? Yeah, more or less. Anyway, I'm a little bit nervous because, you know, we're down 3-2. We got Hughes going, so we'll see. Hey, is that my phone ringing?
Yeah, here it is.
Thanks. Hello?
Come on, show me what you got, yeah. Hey, big shot.
Hey, we're gonna need it.
Yeah. These bad glasses.
Hey guys, we're rolling.
Oh,
jeez.
Hey.
Hey.
Hold on.
Hey. I better put this here.
Hi, okay.
Hey, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We're still the CRM Playaz?
You know, I'm actually not sure. And actually, now that I think of it, I'm not even sure I'm Paul Greenberg.
It's been so long, but I think, yes, we are the CRM Playaz.
Thank goodness for that.
Wow.
Holy
What
God.
about that? Do you even like recognize yourself there?
No.
I didn't.
No. Well, I was about 70 pounds heavier, and it was only, here's the thing, that was what, 14 years ago? No, 13.
That was 2010. So I was
13.
yeah.
So I was only 8 years old. So
there was no gray in my beard whatsoever in that thing. But we actually said it in the video, but you know, I am Brent Leary still with the gray.
And I'm still Paul Greenberg.
And we are the CRM Playaz. And this is such a cool day because, as I show this, this came out, this post, January 26, 2009. ZDNet, the Venerable Paul Greenberg, before he was the Venerable, by the way.
That's right.
He was just the Godfather. Now he's the Venerable Godfather.
Oh, my gosh. It's getting too complicated for me.
But 2009, 14 years ago to the day, you announced the arrival of the CRM Playaz. And the world has never been the same, and we apologize for that.
Can't believe, you think we're responsible for the chaos now?
And the disorder. But, you know, we just started it. Yeah. But wow, 14 years from the announcement. I mean, that's pretty, who did you ever think we'd be like doing this 14 years later?
You know, the answer is sort of. I thought we'd be doing something. I didn't know that we'd be doing this, right? Meaning the way we're doing it and how we're doing stuff. No, that didn't even occur to me. I mean, that video was our first venture into video, period.
Was it?
I think
was that before we did the HubSpot thing?
Yeah, it must have been. Well, let's say this. That was our first venture into professional video.
Yeah.
Well, because we did HubSpot.
That was like a flip cam. That wasn't really professional.
Exactly. And we did something with SAP. Remember? We did that too.
Yeah. See, I have lost track. I don't know which one of those came first.
I think HubSpot was first because you and I, it's got to be about 2010, 2011, right around the same time, I guess. But we went up to Boston and we're just there to talk to HubSpot as, you know, vendor. And while we were there, I think, oh, you know how we could probably type, because HubSpot was after, because it was 2011, because the fourth edition of CRM at the Speed of Light had just come out, and that was 2011 when that came out.
Oh, okay.
And if you remember, part of that show was that we did at the HubSpot headquarters, despite the name of all the rooms at that place, right? Which you remember, Red Sox room and Revolution room and Patriots room, and
yeah, I started getting like violently ill with each passing Boston.
I know. So, but we remember one of our discussions on the show was alternate uses of CRM at the speed of light.
Yes.
We could use it as a replacement for bricks and mortar. We could use it for curls because it was 3 pounds. We could use it for step aerobics because it was nice and big and thick. And we could use it like Oddjob used to use things and just throw it at someone and crack their head and finish them off.
I think they wanted to throw it at our heads by the time we were done with that video. But we
Yeah, but
appreciate Darmesh and Brian. I was like, this is the first time we actually did a video with like, execs on their campus. It was really kind of fun, but
it was great.
was long. We're 14 years in. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And look, we didn't even get a chance to do the a moment of spin. We got to at least
and see, that's something 14 years ago I would not have imagined, but I
Are
don't
you
know
kidding?
what but can you imagine us doing without it now? I can't.
No, but I still can't imagine myself ever guessing the language that he's using.
This
take a
one,
guess?
yeah, this is something in Scandinavia. So
Oh,
I would guess. I'm guessing Swedish.
Okay, Sven. Let us know what it. I'm not even going to venture a guess to that because I never get them right anyway. So yeah, this is going to be fun because in addition to some of the usual stuff we do, we're actually going to be interviewed on our own show, which is kind of cool.
What?
Yeah, I know. Who would have thought that?
By who?
Well, one of the folks that we just really think highly of, and we've seen him in action and interviewing folks, and I always wondered what it would be like to be interviewed by Vala Offshore.
Well, actually, we have been interviewed by Vala Offshore multiple times.
What it would be like to be interviewed again by on our 14th anniversary. And there's a little bit of a surprise. Apparently, we got a surprise that's going to be helping him, which, well, we know what it is now, but everybody else will be surprised. It's a really cool surprise. So we're going to get to that shortly because I've always wanted to be interviewed on Playaz. It'll be fun. Oh, by the way, thank you for all the kind wishes. Hey, Joe. Hey,
Joe. Hey, Joe, I want to talk to you. Okay. Thank you.
I just saw announcement from
Support Logic. Yeah, I did. They acquired a company. What was it called?
I don't know. Ask Joe.
Joe. What's the name of the company? Can you write
let us
it in?
know, Joe.
Say it is so, Joe.
Sahil, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate that. Anand.
Of course. Couldn't do without you, bud.
Yeah, another great player in residence there. Sven is letting us know. Oh,
no,
yeah.
he's right. They changed the logo. They've changed the whole mode of operating. So definitely not the ZDNet header.
Hey, Patrick Tripp.
Oh, Patrick.
Nice to
love
see
this
you.
Guy.
Congrats.
Love this guy.
He cut his CRM tech industry teeth on this stuff.
What'd you do? Bite the camera?
Well, just don't send us the dental bill because
that's right. Jesus.
I did that. Oh, it was Danish, by the way.
Okay. I should have known.
Should have known.
Sorry. Well, I half the time can guess the difference between Danish, Swedish, Norwegian. But this time I blew it.
I just stick to Danish, bagel, and then whatever comes after that. That's the way I look at it. Kevin Nix, thank you, sir.
The man. How are you, sir?
Look at this. The one and only.
The man in our hearts.
And there is a joke there with the good inducement.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
I think I'll leave that one for now. Larry, good to see you.
Hey.
Very good to see you.
Larry, Larry years ago did me such I was at a sugar conference and I was speaking, and Larry, this is going somewhere. Inducement and Joe Mama now.
I think
Larry,
that's what that was what was said by Sven apparently in whatever language that was. I'm just kidding.
No. M-Trippy Labs. Thanks, Joe.
Oh, okay.
And
cool.
Congrats.
Cool. Congratulations. Congrats. Absolutely. All right, man. This is fun. All right. I did have a few things, slides I wanted to get to. Look at that.
God almighty. I can't even look at myself in that picture.
All right. So we kind of teased that we would tell people what this picture was. So I'm going to leave that to the capable hands and venerable hands of Paul Greenberg. What's going on with this picture?
Many years ago, right? Back in the day. So this was actually in the man cave, as you saw, a little bit in the beginning. And this was the first professional shoot that we ever had, sponsored by Customer Collective and Social. Thanks, Jack. And say hi to your dad too. Jack's doing great, by the way.
With Orlando Magic or something like that.
Yeah, it's the what it is the Magic, right, Jack?
Thanks.
You can write it up, put it in the comments so people can see. So anyway, first professional shoot that was actually sponsored by Social Media Today and the Customer Collective, and by the late and wonderful
Robin Carey.
Robin Carey. And anyway, so we were interviewing this guy. What was his name? From Microsoft.
Man, come on, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, he was
Dean Halstead.
Dean Halstead.
I don't know where that came from, but Dean Halstead, that's his name.
He was absolutely a great interview, but more interesting was not the interview and even the interviewee, but the actual camera crew that they sent to record this. These guys were the best.
Yeah.
So Brent and I had said, I don't know how many of you have ever watched Leslie Nielsen, and when we say that, we're not necessarily talking about the movies here. We're talking about Police Squad.
Right.
Which was, what did it last? Like 10 episodes.
There's like 6 episodes.
Yeah, maybe 6. There was, I think OJ was he in the squad?
Nah, he was in the movie.
Okay, what about George? George, what's his name?
George Kennedy.
George Kennedy, was he in the Police Squad show?
He
might have been.
No, he was in the movie. No,
only in the movie. Okay. Well, anyway, it was a squad. He was Police
Mike.
Squad. Hi, Mike. Thank you. He was the head of a squad of crazy police cops, and at the end of every show, they did one of the funniest things. And Brent and I both love Leslie Nielsen, right? So we did one of the funniest things we ever saw, right? Which was at the end of the show, they do a fake freeze frame. So one episode, for example, they had literally arrested a monkey, right? And they were holding him. They were holding him so they could bring him to this jail cell. The show comes to the end. They all fake freeze. So the monkey just lets himself go, goes crazy, starts knocking things all over the place, steals things from them, starts hitting them, and they're all standing there smiling, frozen. So Brent and I decided, we were shooting 2 episodes, that we would do exactly the same thing. And part of this episode, by the way, was Brent had lost his iPhone, right? And it was Enterprise, if I remember correctly.
God, you have a great memory. You're right.
Oh yeah, no, I remember this well. It played into these freeze frames, right? So anyway, Brent and I decided we were going to do the freeze frames, and there were 2 freeze frames. One was us each clinking glasses and holding them, and the second one was Brent picks up, I have my phone, hold it, freeze with my phone, and the phone starts ringing. What we did is the guy in the back, member of the camera crew, and in the first one, what he did was as we froze, clinking glasses, he took the first glass out of Brent's hand, drank it, put it back in his hand, took the second glass out of my hand, drank it, put it back in my hand, and we stood there with 2 empty glasses. The second one was after Brent had just slaughtered Enterprise, my phone rings, right, while we're frozen. He takes it out of my hand, listens, and it says, "Oh, you found Brent Leary's phone? Hello, Enterprise, you found Brent Leary's phone?" And then puts it back in my hand and then hangs up, right?
That was totally unscripted. This dude did this without our knowing, because I literally fell the hell out. I just started laughing uncontrollably because he got me. I was not expecting him to do that, but it was so fun, and they did such a good job. And unfortunately, we shot like about 3 hours worth of stuff. At least. And all that we have is the very first, that intro, total of 14 minutes from that. We don't know where the rest of this stuff went. So that was fun. But that was the story behind that. I don't even know the story behind this, and we'll save it for another day. But do you remember this? Is this a Robin
Yeah,
thing? I don't know
that
where
was
the hell that came from.
that was what's the name of that thing where everybody dances? You know, they put your head on and you dance.
Jibber jabber or something like
Jibber
that.
jabber. That came from
Oh
there.
my God,
And
that's where it came from.
Yeah, and that one I think I'm not. No, that wasn't tied to Zoho. I don't think that was previous.
Ugh.
Because we did the cowboy hat thing with Zoho.
Yeah, no,
right?
this was like
years
this
before.
is Robin Carey too. So
this was Jibber Jabber because we did a whole bunch of Jibber Jabber things, and this was one of those.
And you notice the bullet holes behind us. Somebody was taking shots at us or something. I don't know.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, all right. Let's move along.
Right, that's right. You're right, Michael. We starred in Blazing Saddles. Surprise.
Yeah. I was Cleavon Little apparently, and you were Gene Wilder. So
apparently, or the other way around. Who knows?
Where 14 years in the blink of an eye. You what? Who is that? That's so nice.
I don't know. It's frightening.
User, let us know who you are because we don't know. That's very nice. All right, let's move. Let's keep moving. I think let me do this. I think there's just a couple of quick things I wanted to add. The bring up since we're like a network now. So here we go.
More shows coming.
Just a quick pitch. Finally, oh my God. I just hope I don't get sick again like I did in December. I've been trying to do this a few good minutes with Hamish McKenzie, who is the co-founder of Substack. Literally, he had to postpone. Then I got sick like minutes before we were supposed to do it in December. I mean, I was like 2 minutes away from going on. I was like, oh, I can't go on. And so we had to get, through the holiday season. But finally, next Tuesday, I'm doing a few good minutes with Hamish McKenzie. We're going to talk about a lot around what's going on with Substack, which is, one of the hotter and more, professional kind of ways to push your content out in a newsletter format. But have you gone you go on TV on the cable news, and you remember they used to bring on people and they would always say they're from the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or Washington Post. Now they're coming on those same shows, but they're saying Substack, because they've kind of they're using Substack as a platform to cultivate their own following outside of the major news brands. And I think it's really fascinating, and I am really looking forward to sitting down and talking with him about that. So
that's going to be fantastic. Actually,
yeah, it should be good. I'm really looking forward to it. And then, of course, you want to plug that again?
Yeah, I mean, this is our gear show, man. This is where we geek out, and we get to geek out with Monique Johnson and Dave Smith. Which, how much better can we get, really? I mean, this is just going to be a blast. And we finally decided that it was time to start a show where we can actually talk about all this stuff that you can't see at the moment, except you can in the back of Brent. Behind Brent, you can see his. Mine's in front of me, and I'll have a camera angle someday to show you. So, right, but look, you're all at home. You need to have high quality or at least minimally invasive audio and video. And we're going to show, the idea of the show is bring on the experts, bring on the consumers who know how to do this stuff, bring on the prosumers, and let's all talk about it and show how to do it. That's it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and by the way, notice we need to get pictures of us smiling because they look great. We look like we're about to tear each other apart for some reason.
Yeah.
They look really happy. And, by the way, that's Monique Johnson, who is a video production expert. And that is Dave Smith, aka Wiz, right? That's what he goes
Wiz.
by. His rap name. But Dave is also a former Gartner analyst. Now he's set up his own shop. And so he's an analyst and he's an expert in video audio. So that'll be our first one of those. It should be fun. We're gonna start throwing out all sorts of gear and stuff that we're using, and because
And
people
one-
ask us all the time, what do you guys recommend? What should we do? And so now you're going to find out.
And minimal and optimal too, both. You're going to go and everything in between.
All
and
right.
plus, one
Scott.
last thing, just to keep you tempted. The other thing is, Brent and I realized we have probably by, I don't know, mid to late this year, 6 more shows coming online, a couple very soon, including this one.
Yeah.
So be ready.
By the way, that was the notorious Jen Van de Zandy who said all those nice things. Should have known.
This is a giant hug right back to her.
Well, I do the Wakanda Forever. There you go. That's
yeah.
What you get.
And speaking of which, Wakanda Forever, is that the name of the new movie? It's being shown February 1st.
Oh, where is it? All right.
Yeah, on Disney.
Good to know. All right. Scott Wilder, good to see you, sir.
There's the man.
Yeah, and Substack is great. Yeah, we're going to learn more about it. All right. Is that all I got? Oh, no. One last thing. We got to plug this because this is all about our buddy Ginger Conlon. Ginger Conlon is up for CX Magazine's Stars
CXM
23. Stuff. What is it, like CX Influencer Award or something like that?
Well, there's influencers and professionals. She's up for as one of the 25 finalists in the influencer category.
Yeah. So please do us a favor. Support her. She's a friend of ours. She's one of the first people I met in the industry when she was editor over at CRM Magazine. She's an original horseman. Absolutely. And so please go to that URL that you see on there. Go there and vote for her. She is deserving of it.
Absolutely. She's a pioneer and iconic too in every possible way.
Absolutely. And she's a graduate of the Play in Residence program too.
Yes, she is. And of course, always
get her the award.
One of the PIRs will become president of the United States. It's just destiny.
Well, if not, then Jamie Anderson could at least impersonate a president. So because
we'll have him make some important policy phone calls.
All right. I think yeah. All right, let's do this because I've been waiting to be interviewed on our own show for 14 years. So
see, unlike you, I have not.
Now, here's the cool thing. We already told you about Vala. I mean, that's great in itself. But then Vala told his co-host on Disrupt TV, Ray Wang, and guess what? Not only is Vala here,
whoa,
Mr. Ray Wang is here too. Oh,
straight from a hotel bedroom for Ray.
Hey, what's new?
Man, thanks to both of you guys, man, for taking time to do this. This is awesome.
Oh my God, I could listen to you two all day. Thank you for having us. Congrats on the 14th anniversary. Look at all the good people. You've got over 6,000 views on Twitter already. So you guys are legends. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I mean, we only aspire to get to where you guys are.
No,
14 years.
I always attribute it to you two have over 6,000 views on Twitter already.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, it's hard. We're all sports fans. And so I want to just kind of kick this off because 2009 seems like a flash, 14 years. But just to add some perspective to all the folks watching who are also sports fans, the Steelers won the Super Bowl.
That's year. 2008, 2009.
2008, 2009. Year 2009.
Right. Yeah, if you look at it, 2009, 2010, which would have been a better move on your part here, buddy. the Giants won the Super Bowl.
No. I'm looking at calendar year 9 on purpose.
Okay.
Good year for Pittsburgh because the Penguins win calendar 2009 as well. The Lakers beat the Magic. Now, this was the first championship win for Kobe without Shaq. So that was significant.
Yeah, that was against Dwight Howard.
Yes. And Kobe won MVP for the championship series. And for all of us watching, sadly, exactly today is the 3rd year anniversary of Kobe's death.
Oh, wow.
He died January 26, 2020, 3 years ago. And of course, that year, it was the year Michael Jordan entered the Hall of Fame.
Wow. He gave that awesome Hall of Fame speech that he was basically, and that's why I got you, and that's why I did that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. If you haven't watched the Netflix series, definitely watch it. It's definitely encompasses all of that. Got you. For tennis fans, Roger Federer, even though he has 20 majors, he's only won the French Open once, and it was in 2009. Of course, him and Serena Williams won Wimbledon singles that year as well. For soccer fans, World Cup, brought a lot of energy. Neymar was 17 years old, and he made his debut in 2009, which was, and now he's considered one of the greatest players.
I was 17 years old too back then.
17, yeah. You look the same. And of course, the reason I picked 2009 as the year of the champions, the Yankees return to the World Series.
Thank you.
And they win their 27th World Series. And so my question to Paul is, in the next 14 years, how many World Series will the Yankees win? Two. Oh, that's a bold, because that's the number of World Series the Red Sox have won since 2009. Anyway,
I'm aware.
I won't mention that.
Doesn't matter. That's also the number. That's less than the number of last place finishes the Red Sox have had since 2009.
That is true. That is true. And I'm going to follow up with Brent. Rams. How many Super Bowl appearances or wins in the next 14 years? Because as we know, they've had one in the 14-year run that you've had CRM Playaz.
Whoa. No, we've got one.
LA Rams.
Yeah, let's not split hairs or anything here. We are still the reigning champs until a couple of weeks from now, and it's all over. I'm gonna give myself at least one more.
Good. Yeah,
not gonna be greedy.
They got a strong coach, strong team. Now, before we jump into Ray's comments and questions, I also want to put business in perspective when we talk about 2009, because 14-year run is legendary. And sometimes we need to just kind of remind ourselves. First of all, your show launched only 2 years after the iPhone. Pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
My company.
We're on version 27 though.
Yeah, right. And you don't have to pay, whatever, $1,200 to watch.
Way cheaper.
Salesforce in 2009 crossed the 1 billion revenue mark. That was a major milestone for us. And we also launched Salesforce Ventures that year. And Slack was founded in 2009, which ended up being our largest acquisition. Now, the social revolution in 2009, Instagram was founded in 2009, Pinterest was founded in 2009, WhatsApp, Chatter was founded in 2009.
I'm so sorry.
In terms of consumer fintech, Venmo was founded in 2009, Square was founded in 2009. Companies like Coinbase, 2012 in your 14. Uber was founded in 2009. Airbnb was only 3 months when your show launched. Convene was 2009. Cloudflare 2009.
It's pretty clear what we've done, Brent.
We've done,
yeah.
Now the other
haven't
thing
made
is
it
that
time,
only a couple of months before your show launched, this person, unknown name Satoshi Nakamoto, published a Bitcoin white paper. But it was in January 2009, the same year CRM Playaz launched, that Bitcoin network went live on a Genesis block. And it took until 2011 for Bitcoin to reach $1. So that is 14 years of incredible sports and business. Now, you did mention before Ray and I jumped on your first show, and of course, you wrote an article in exactly 14 years ago today. What's amazing in the article, when I looked at the article, is you said CRM is about conversation, which is amazing. But you said you want the feeling of the show. You wanted to have an edge and a straight razor and the wit of Steve Martin. Now, Paul, did you know 14 years ago that Steve Martin was going to be as popular as he is today? It's incredible that you picked Steve Martin.
It wasn't. Steve Martin was easy. He was popular in 1975, right?
I would say he's as popular as he's ever been now.
Oh,
yeah.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
You also said you want the CRM players to be like, pardon the interruption, with Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilburn, who are even more popular now than ever. So it's amazing how you specifically reference people that have been so relevant 14 years ago. So my question, the month before you announce, there's a publication that lists the 2 most popular blog sites for CRM in the world. It was by and number 1 blogger was you, Paul, and the number 2, and this was published by Social Media Today in December 31st, the last day of 2008. They said the 20 best CRM blogs. Paul Greenberg, number 1, because of his human approach to CRM, and Brent Leary's blog on social CRM, noting Leary is being social himself on Twitter, podcasts, videos, and relationship building. This is in 2008. Okay, was this a marriage made in heaven? Did that blog have anything to do with you two deciding to launch CRM Playaz?
The Playaz, no. You know what? Everything I think, Brent, you would agree. Yeah,
that was 2003, which 20 years this year is when I actually met you face to face. It was me and Michael Thomas went to this conference. Who was it? Tech Target or something like that?
Yeah, it was Tech Target. It was Search CRM's conference.
Yeah, It was here in Atlanta, and the keynotes were Mark Benioff.
Yeah, I had a funny story I won't tell with him on there.
And Paul Greenberg. And there's some other folks in there too. But the thing that, and I think Michael was the one that actually reached out to you initially.
Yep.
And because of your book. And so when we found out that you were going to be speaking at the Search CRM thing, we're like, all right, we got to go. And we arranged ahead of time to meet you after you were done. It was funny because Mark Benioff was just like walking through. Nobody's really kind of,
That was
yeah. So, but the thing that stood out the most to me, everybody who went on stage to speak, they each had they played like a theme song for them. And like these theme songs are like, something straight out the 60s. It was like,
3 coins in a fountain.
Yeah, I was like, nothing against, 60s music is all right and all that. But it was like, man, we're in the 2000s here. So when they introduced Paul and then they play his theme song, it was Hey Ya. And it was, and we were like, what? This is cool. And he comes, rolling down. He's got his sneakers on. And he's, moving, nonstop. He's having fun because everybody else, kind of was up there, and you got the feeling that they were trying to impress, the audience. Paul was just talking to us. It was just really fun. And so and then we got a chance to talk afterwards. And
and this is 20 years ago, right? This is 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that specific conference, well, there were 2 or 3 things. The most important thing with Brent and Michael, without any question in my mind, I mean, that's lifelong. But there were a lot of other things like that were going on too, which was I had arranged to meet Mark at that conference because he had persuaded me at the time to, I'll get into that in a minute. But the key to that speech, that whole speech was on the ASP market, right? And Salesforce. I remember Tom Siebel had said about Salesforce, it won't last 6 months, right? And then he went, and about 6-7 months later, bought Upshot, right? So I'm on the stage, and I'm talking about how Tom Siebel did a 180-degree kind of wheelie. I think that's the way I said it, a 360, 180-degree wheelie when it came to, the ASP market. And I said, first he was attacking Salesforce and saying they never survive. And then all of a sudden he buys Upshot, realizing, made a mistake here. And then I looked at the audience and I go, I don't like that guy. I said, as long as, then I said, for the good of Siebel and for the good of the market, he needs to resign. And so the audience was about 500 some people there, went berserk. And they went absolutely nuts. And so years later, I found out from, I can't remember his full name. It was Pat something. He used to be Siebel's right-hand guy. And he was also, what was it? Pat.
She was, yeah.
No, it was a he. It was a he. He was like a right-hand guy. He became head of SAP Public Sector North America. Patrick, somebody. So I'm having breakfast with him here, and I mentioned that to him, and he says, "Oh, I know all about that." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Tom called me in his office because he had heard about it, and he said I was supposed to take care of you." And I said, "What's he supposed to do? Like kill me?" And he goes, "No, I was supposed to be really nice to you because he didn't want you to do that again." And then he said, "But I didn't care. I was leaving." Right. So that was going on that conference. I was supposed to meet Mark too, and Mark, let's just say, right in the middle of the meeting, walked away from me. Right before the meeting, walked away from me, not because he was absent-minded, not because he was being malicious, right? And he invited me to see the Dalai Lama as penance for what he did, right? And I said no, and I said I need an apology. And then let's say this: he brought me back around.
That's awesome.
He brought me back around because he did actually apologize, and at the same time was very gracious about how he did that. So, but it was this is all the backstory at this very same conference. It was
That's amazing. That's
wild.
Wow.
And Ray, go ahead. When did you meet Brent and Paul? Do you remember?
Probably much later than that. I was a Forrester analyst, and I'm just thinking that guy must have been Patrick Bakey, but it might not
That's
be.
it. It was Patrick Bakey. That's exactly who it was.
I think I met Paul, but I really didn't have a conversation until like we were sitting at the Renaissance in Boston. I don't remember what date that was.
Brent remembers. Why don't you tell him, Brent?
I don't remember.
The rock stars of social CRM.
Oh, it was for that?
It was the.
Wow.
Brent, me, and Michael Thomas were doing this thing called the rock stars of social CRM.
What's Frank's last name?
Frank.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Falcone?
No.
No.
Frank, he was the
Eliason? No.
That's it. Frank. He was
Eliason. It was Frank Eliason.
Oh, yes. Comcast Frank.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Comcast Frank. We did this
Wow.
thing
I was
on Meridian 6.
Go on.
Well, we did
So it was the Radian 6 conference that was going on. That's what it was.
That's awesome. Well, when you talk about 2003, you meeting for the first time, 2 years before that, obviously, Paul published CRM at the Speed of Light. It's now in the 4th edition. It's nine languages, and it's called the Bible of CRM Industry. In 2002, a year later, Paul founded the 56 Group. The year after that, Brent founded CRM Essentials.
This is your
these are 20-year works in the making and pure legacy work. Of course, the CRM Playaz is also legacy work, 14 years. Now, I have to say, when I go to your LinkedIn or Twitter bios and information, there's no reference to CRM Playaz. So for whatever reason, you both keeping it a secret. I don't understand. I'm like, man, they need to hire a CMO. But I guess you don't need it. It's more
what? This is serious. I don't think I've updated my LinkedIn profile since I created it.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I just posted
it was amazing. Neither one of you mentioned CRM Playaz anywhere, but look how popular it is. So whatever you're doing, it's working. Do you consider it legacy work? And why is it that you continue after 14 years to commit so much of your time and energy and passion to the show?
Paul?
Is that because I'm venerable?
Yeah.
I get to do
age before beauty.
That's what I figured. I knew that was. All I have to do is say venerable, and age before beauty will follow. Right? So look, I mean, first of all, we love doing it, and we've always loved doing it since the beginning. And, it's not like, there's a lot of production work that goes into it and all these other things we're doing, which we didn't do in the earlier days. And it showed, by the way, but the conversations themselves, half of the time, I don't have a clue what Brent's got going for the show. Right?
I said that about Ray.
Right. Same thing. It just kind of drops on you, and there it is. Right. And that's fine because there's 100% trust. And it's just a conversation for us.
Speak to that. You said 100% trust. When the podcast was announced exactly 14 years ago today, At that time, you were considered godfather of CRM. You were the most influential person in the space. You choose to partner with Brent. Why? What do you love about Brent? Why Brent? You could have had anybody.
Well, first of all, that stuff about influence is all crock. To be honest, I wasn't that influential.
You got invited to meet the Dalai Lama, for God's sakes.
Yeah, right. The Dalai Lama, if you know, didn't show actually. So that's a famous story, right? So, the thing is that Brent's he's like my brother. I mean, so it's literally the equivalent of why would I choose Brent? Because he's my family, in a manner of speaking, and plus, his insights. When it comes to the business aspects, he just does
the best.
So many things right that I don't have to worry about or think about, or even that to be honest, I don't even know how to do, right? And never will, where he does. And next, we have very similar senses of humor too. So they're not identical, but they're close. And so, that part plays a lot, but that's what I'm saying. I know that whatever Brent does, I can trust it. I don't have to know what it is. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to ask about it. If it's Brent does it, I just trust it automatically. I don't question it particularly, because I know it's going to be in the best interest of everybody concerned, whoever everybody is.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of it, really, except that.
Brent is universally considered one of the most authentic, likable, and smart experts in the world. When you watch the first video episode that you had, which you briefly mentioned at the beginning of this show,
that's amazing.
You can see the masterful storytelling, because he talks about being at the airport. I believe it was an iPad, not an iPhone. And it was $. I'm not going to mention the company, but he talks about losing his iPad, and he says, all I wanted was the company to call and just give me an update. By the way, he said on the show, he had zero expectations of the iPad being found again, but a courtesy call just to say we looked and couldn't find. And he dropped an American Express case study on the first video show. And he said that in 2009, American Express showed that people are willing to pay more for better service. And he said, I would have paid more and I would have stayed with this brand had they just updated me on the fact that they looked for the iPad. That was a wonderful story to just help business leaders understand and appreciate the importance of customer experience. You're a masterful storyteller. My question, 14 years later, are people still willing to pay more for better experience?
First of all, when I asked you to do this, I was just expecting you to just come on and BS with us a little bit. Dude went to work. I mean, I feel like this is Art Linkletter, or is this?
I know about. Listen, you're my mentors. You're my mentors. I know about you guys. This is like
the Friends reunion show that never happened.
And at the end, I hope this isn't the Friends finale, though.
Yeah. Well, I think even more so, people are willing to do more, pay more now, because it's getting a good experience is getting harder and harder. It feels like, you guys know. I mean, you guys with Disrupt TV, you talk to all these different great people, and they are sharing their experiences. You have your personal experiences. Everybody is looking for someone to give them what they need when they need it, how they need it, and it's harder and harder to get it. And yes, I would even pay some extra change to get a good experience when I need it.
Well, hey, I mean, experience is hot, but let's go back to your experiences. I mean, 14 years later, let's look back. Favorite experiences, favorite guests comes top of mind. I won't put you on the spot. I know you love all your children. Paul, what would you say?
Favorite experiences on the show?
On the show, like remote location, camped out in the middle. I mean, there's some funny shows. So,
I don't know. Again, as you said, love all the children, right? I look, here's the way it works. I just love the fact I get on Thursday at 3 p.m. and Brent, we get on 10 minutes before, and then we just figure out what to do, right? And we don't even, that's not even true. We talk about nothing related to the show, and then we do the show and figure out what to do, right? So, and, to me, I love that. I do. Look, right now, full disclosure, I have COVID, right? So, and, I I feel fine. But the thing is that I had it when we did the show last week. It was worse then. I have it now. It's not stopping me from doing the show. It's what I'm saying. It's like I love this. It's like the best thing I do every week.
On.
Yeah, and then I guess the only other thing is, look, when we expanded to a network, with PPN, all the work that we're putting into it to make this happen has been a blast, because we have to figure out so many things that 14 years ago we wouldn't even vaguely envisioned, right? So, I mean, when I say vaguely envisioned, I literally was incapable of envisioning this, right? So I'm saying that's what I love. And so I couldn't pick one, because there isn't one. It's just
I got
the
one.
whole thing.
All right, Brent, what's yours, man?
He's going to know exactly. And it wasn't even really our idea. So we were going to do an appearance or an engagement at Oracle World before the pandemic.
I know exactly what it is.
Yeah. So we were talking to them about what kinds of things could we do, what would be of interest. And Kim Guillaume, who's one of our favorite ARPR folks over at Oracle, she had an idea. I don't know where it came from. She wanted us to have a rap battle with a couple of Oracle execs, Steve Fioretti and what's that?
And Jeff Wojtko.
Jeff Wojtko. And so we're like, are you serious? I mean,
yeah, two old white guys, right, doing a rap battle.
So they really set it all up. So they got us equipment, got us some folks to help us out, even had a little bit of a live studio audience. And so it was actually it was more like a battle between Steve and Jeff, and I was kind of the DJ for it. So I would play them like a beat, and then somebody would start rapping.
Right.
Steve was so
awesome.
it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
I had to throw the towel in because it was getting a little too hard for me.
This was an 8 Mile style.
It was actually
battle.
really funny, because Brent Mercy killed it. My entire contribution, if you watch the video, is I'm laughing hysterically the whole time. That's it. That's my entire contribution. I just laugh hysterically. But Brent Mercy killed the song. Mercy killed the rap battle. What was the name of the song again?
Oh, there's a theme. So there's and Ray, you probably knew these guys. So in the 80s, there's a rap group called EPMD, and they had a song called You're a Customer. So, we were talking about customer service, gave them the beat that you're a customer, and I'll never be able to play that song again.
If they're listening,
awesome.
please comment.
You know what, though?
Yeah. If anybody has a video of this, please share.
There is. There
is. Oh, okay.
Oracle actually.
I'll share the link.
It's when you knew Oracle was changing, too, because we said to them afterwards, look, you don't have to actually show this. Right, because we had recorded it, right? And they said, no, we want to.
Oh, wow.
Right, and they did.
It was great. Speaking of change, because when I have an opportunity to be near futurists and experts, I want to learn. We're closer to 2035 than 2009, and when you first launched CRM Playaz, you have keynoted, you've hosted panels, you've written articles covering innovation in enterprise and business space, including tipping point of cloud computing adoption, mobile revolution, social revolution, that connected everything, including Internet of Things and wearables explosion, voice-enabled technologies, resurgence of e-commerce, visual commerce, rebirth of data visualization. Your first guest was a visualization architect for Microsoft. Expansion of immersive technologies like augmented and virtual reality, interactive 3D, and now all the AI capabilities. And certainly the last 3 months, generative AI has been on top of everyone's radar. And of course, Brett, you've talked about natural language processing and Amazon and all of this amazing computer visioning, smart robotics stuff that the enterprise and businesses are dealing with. Now, as you look to the next 14 years, let's fast forward to 2035.
That makes me 86, man.
Yeah, we're going to be celebrating the 28th year anniversary
87
of Playaz.
The PPN network will be like entirely galactic by then. You'll be broadcasting on the moon.
Right.
Ray will have one hair out of place. No, so what?
You'll still have your kind of mullet.
Yeah. No, I'm going to
right?
keep cutting it short so you don't see the grays. What's exciting the next 10 years? And I know it's hard to answer because look, everything I just mentioned really was born in the last 14 years or reached, mass adoption. What's exciting? What do you think you're going to be writing about in the next decade? Ray, what are your thoughts? I mean, if you want to jump into it, any of you, because all three of you are where I go to figure out the innovation roadmap of the future.
It's really going to be which avatar will be replacing us. Our avatars will be interviewing us. I mean, I don't know.
I know you're going to replace me on Disrupt with, Chat GPT, but hopefully Brent
that will
and
never
Paul
happen.
will stay together.
For me, I'll tell you what it is for me. The biggest innovation is being able to stand up and walk down a set of stairs. Right.
Yeah, I love. Peter Diamandis is working on solutions to help us to live 100 years. Yeah. So,
okay. I'll be talking to him.
Aren't we all still going to be? You asked about back in 2009, people wanting better experiences, and now are people willing to pay? I think we'll be struggling with the same stuff. It's unfortunate. Yeah, it's like you get all this great new technology and people still use it, like they only have this that they can do instead of like really branching out. And, we could really do, go think a little bit further out than we maybe we're constrained to. And, until people, I guess, do that, maybe this, we're getting all the excitement with the Chat GPT and people going up, trying to do things with that. And it feels like, it doesn't matter what the technology is. We always use it in a very constrained fashion just to try to solve yesterday's, challenges. Maybe that's because yesterday's challenges still haven't been solved. I don't know, but it just feels like that.
Brent, is the most valuable company on earth? Is it here or it's not born yet when we talk about 2035? Look at all the companies I mentioned born when CRM Playaz was born. Amazing roster of big companies that are less than 14 years old.
Oh, what about Apple? I mean, let's face it. They've been around since what, the late 70s, early 80s?
Yeah.
79,
78, I believe.
Yeah, and they are still here and on top. I mean, of course, they kind of took a dip, but I don't know. It's kind of hard. I mean, because what's that? They've been over there on top, so to speak, for the better part of 40 years. You would think that there'd be something so new and so revolutionary that none of us are really thinking about that will come out of nowhere and be there by 2035. But here we are. I don't know. We still like these mobile phones a lot. And
yeah, of course. I mean, you know what? I'll tell you, I have a wish for the next, how many years, 14 more years, which is the tech industry should get out of its own head a little bit, like a lot, actually. I mean, I am, every time I go online and, I see this every day and I see these, and you go, if you look on LinkedIn, if you want to look at social, if you want to look at, media a little more traditionally or a little more advanced, but one way or the other, you see these battles going on over Chat GPT or even more interestingly now, generative AI and blah, blah, blah. And the reality is nobody in the world I know buys technology with that battle in mind, right? Nobody gives a crap about that battle. Actually, what they care about is what it does for them, right? And so, I tend to subscribe to the stuff I hear with, and I always have with jobs to be done and social, service dominant logic and so on, because ultimately the way I look at everything is, not everything, let's say the way I look at anything related to interacting with institutions is you interact with the institution because you think it does something that you need it to do to accomplish some job you need to accomplish, whatever it may be. And that's why you interact. You don't interact for the giant academic battle that's going on about this and that. You don't interact for any of that. You're looking for a simple way or a convenient way to accomplish something you need to accomplish. And it drives me nuts seeing all these people fighting over turf that doesn't actually even exist. It's like they're trying to be the king of the definition. And look, I tried that with CRM. I did. I mean, I knew that it was important to own the definition, right? I mean, I knew that right away, and I knew that. I mean, I was in politics for 22 years. I didn't learn nothing, right? So, but at the same time, in the long run, there's incredible value in having definitions because that's how we communicate, right, and understand each other. But there's no value in owning it, really, because ultimately you need to help. I love people who just have simple solutions or simple answers to concerns and considerations people have. And I can't stand these. I mean, they're nonstop every day with people fighting over stupid terminology all the time. And it's like, I can't read them anymore. I stopped. I could say, crotchety 73-year-old, but the reality is,
oh my God. Remember the fights on the definition of social CRM and social business?
Well, you know what? But
that was annoying as heck.
It's the founder of it, 2008, if I'm not mistaken. Or
yeah, well,
before.
If you remember, but here's the deal. Here's actually, and there's an example of it being.
I have to run. I'm being kicked out of my room, so I better say.
Wow!
Well, congratulations on 14 years. So
thank you for being here, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right. So here's the thing. I put it simple. Back in 2008, when I wrote "Stake in the Ground" on social CRM, that was considered the foundational post. 43 reasons why you should look at it. But you know what the key was? That in the very beginning, I say, well, I've been calling it CRM 2.0, but Brent Leary's been calling it social CRM. I think that's a much better way to put it. So I'm dropping CRM 2.0. I'm calling it social CRM from now on because Brent's right. And I went on and then finished the post, right? The reality was, from the standpoint of just explaining, social was way better than CRM 2.0, right? And it didn't take me more than 30 seconds to make that decision. Right. It's not, I wasn't trying to hang on to CRM 2.0 as ownership. Right. On the other hand, Brent nailed it. Right. So I went with it and then I built out the case for it. And then you know what actually did, and I'm sorry he left, the thing that solidified the concept of social CRM itself was when Jeremiah Ouyang and Ray came up with these use cases for it. Yeah. And that said, okay, this isn't just a term. It's something that has value and can be applied in this way. And then when the time came to get rid of the term, still haven't gotten rid of it, right? It should have been gone. Let's see, what's this? 12 years ago, should have been gone, right? But now we still have here's a piece of advice as a venerable CRM player. I will give everybody, which is when you see people trying to sell you market research on the social CRM market, don't buy it and never buy a damn thing from that company because there is no such thing as pure social CRM research. And then, by the way, start looking at the companies that they are calling social CRM, half of which are usually out of business or acquired approximately 10 years before they issue the report. Okay, so understand that. If you see somebody wants to sell you a $4,000 report on the power of the social CRM market, not only don't buy it, sue them, right? So there you go.
So many lessons in terms of how to think about today and tomorrow by reading and being a part of the audience of your show and your writing. And I want to tell you, your superpower, obviously company co-founders, incredible authors, OGs of podcasts. I mean, it started with you two. But you are door openers for people. You open doors for people. You invite people. You are their advocates and their allies. I met Paul January of 2012. My first blog ever was a month after I met Paul, February of 2012. He opened up his ZDNet platform and invited me to write. And it was a long blog. And I told him, Paul, I don't write. I've never written a blog. And most people would run away when they hear that. Paul worked with me. I think I went through 10 edits before you saw the final. Needless to say, I've written maybe 400 or 500 ZDNet blogs since then. But my first blog was because of Paul. And then at CRM Evolution conferences, Brent inviting me to participate at the event. I didn't know he was going to become the chairperson of it. Both of you are door openers and connectors. And for myself and everyone watching, thank you for 14 years of helping us become better professionals, better people. Really, really, that I really appreciate you two both.
Well, thank you, and take our word. It's mutual appreciation. Believe me. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, when we, that idea of, having somebody come on and interview us, the idea just kind of popped up, but your name popped up in both of our heads.
Wow.
Because we really appreciate what you do. And of course, we appreciate what you and Ray do, not only individually, but together on Disrupt TV. And so it was, and like I said, I should have known better because I know you. I should have known that it wasn't just going to be, lobbing a few, questions. I mean, I really felt like this was our life or something. I really appreciate that.
You have both talk about living a recommendable life. For me to research and find goodness about you was as easy as drinking a cup of water. You've done so much, and you're a mentor and sponsors for Ray, myself, and everyone else. You see CTOs like Charlie Isaac and one of the most innovative people I know on earth, who deeply cares and respects about you. I wish we were in person because I could use a Paul hug where he lifts me up in the air. So I don't know where he finds his strength.
Readjust your back.
Yeah. And I will be listening for the next 14 years. And again, Ray and I, imitation is the best form of flattery. You are the OGs in this space. And we just want to do half as well as you've done in terms of educating and inspiring the masses. So thank you for giving me the opportunities to be part of this special day. Really, really unforgettable. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Vala.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you so much. Love you.
All right. Well, this has been quite the episode, but we have to end it like we end all of our episodes. Well, how we end them now, because 14 years ago, we didn't know many, but we know many now. So on behalf of Vala Offshore, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Playaz, and there's many. You know what that means. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.